Death is something every human will experience, and yet, very few of us understand what actually happens in those final moments. Not spiritually, not philosophically. Biologically, what does the body do in the last 30 seconds before life ends? Let's walk through it, calmly. 1. The brain knows something is wrong. In many natural deaths, such as cardiac arrest, the first major event is the heart stopping. When the heart stops pumping blood, oxygen stops reaching the brain. Within seconds, the brain recognizes a critical failure. Electrical activity begins to change. There may be a brief surge of chaotic neural firing, the brain's emergency response system activating. Some researchers believe this surge could explain why some people report vivid experiences in near-death situations. The brain is not giving up. It's reacting. Even at the end, it tries to stabilize the system. 2. Consciousness begins to fade. About 5 to 10 seconds after blood flow stops, consciousness usually fades. The person may lose awareness. Vision narrows. Hearing may dim. This is similar to what happens when someone faints. The brain simply cannot function without oxygen. Importantly, once consciousness is gone, the person is no longer actively experiencing events the way they were seconds earlier. The body is still active, but awareness begins to dissolve. 3. The body shifts into survival mode. Even after consciousness fades, automatic systems continue. The body may trigger gasping reflexes. Breathing patterns may become irregular. These reflexes are not conscious suffering. They are automatic neurological programs, deeply embedded survival mechanisms. The brainstem, one of the oldest parts of the brain, keeps firing signals for as long as it can. It is built to preserve life at all costs. Even in the final moments, the body does not stop trying. 4. The brain experiences an energy crisis. The brain consumes about 20% of your body's energy. Without oxygen, its cells cannot produce ATP, the molecule that powers cellular activity. Within 20-30 seconds, electrical communication between neurons begins to break down. Signals that once moved seamlessly through billions of connections start to fail. Brain waves slow. Organized patterns fade. The incredible network that once created memories, thoughts, personality begins shutting down. Not violently, but gradually. 5. Sensory systems. Go offline as oxygen deprivation continues, sensory processing declines. Vision is often the first to go. Peripheral vision narrows, sometimes described as tunnel vision. Hearing may persist slightly longer. Touch and pain perception diminish as brain activity decreases. The world, if it is still being perceived at all, becomes distant, muted, fading. The nervous system is not designed to endure long without oxygen. It powers down. 6. Electrical activity falls. Silent in the final measurable stage, organized electrical activity in the brain ceases. This is what doctors monitor in clinical settings. When brain activity stops entirely, the body can no longer coordinate itself as a living system. Cells still exist for a time. Organs may not fail instantly, but the integrated system, the living person, has ended. The process is biological, quiet, a shutdown of complexity that once felt permanent. Here's something important. For most natural deaths, especially when unconsciousness occurs quickly, there is not prolonged awareness in those final seconds. The body loses consciousness early in the process. Much of what follows happens without active perception, and that matters. Because what often frightens people most is the idea of prolonged awareness at the very end. Science suggests that in many cases, consciousness fades rapidly. The human body is astonishing. For decades, sometimes nearly a century, it sustains thought, memory, emotion, identity. And then, in less than a minute, the biological processes that made all of that possible come to rest. Not because the body failed instantly, but because it could no longer maintain the delicate balance life requires. Death is universal. But so is the extraordinary fact that, right now, your heart is beating, your brain is firing, your cells are communicating. You are conscious, and that is statistically rare. Every second you're alive is the result of countless systems working together in fragile harmony, which makes this moment, this breath, this awareness, remarkable.